All right. First 40-yard dash is up. Chris Ransom here. William Yanish will be joining shortly. All right. I'm going to get ready, though. First 40-yard dash of the day is up. And for 517 for Kelvin Banks. Not a bad time to start out with. $528 for Anthony Belton. Tyler Booker's going to run next. Tyler Booker's going to run next. Yeah, I was going to get changed before the show, but I just had way too much other stuff to do. I had eye drops I had to do for my eye, and I had to set up the weigh-ins. Did not get that up till 12:30, so not making excuses, but just had all other stuff on my mind. Five seconds flat for Will Campbell. Will Campbell might run a post 540. Yeah, I'll give you guys the bench press reps a little bit later today. We'll give you guys the bench press reps for the wide receivers and running backs a little bit later today. I'm going to wait for William to get here. I'm going to wait for the 40 times to be done. Okay, perfect timing. Connerly's about to run the 40, William, so your timing could not be more important. So, and Will Campbell, he ran 5 seconds flat. 32 and 5/8 was his arm length. There is some debate about Campbell being a guard due to his arm length. But for me, I don't view plugging a tackle inside to guard as a necessity unless the arm length is below 32 inches. For some NFL teams, it's below 33. But the Patriots, they view Campbell as a tackle. Vrabel already came out and said they view him as a tackle. despite an arm length of 32 and 5/8. So I think they are going to get him if they can't get the left tackle they want in free agency. If they can't get a Ronnie Stanley, they can't get a big name left tackle. I think they're just going to bite the bullet and take Will Campbell to be their blind side at 4, William. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but that's just the vibe I'm getting. How are you feeling, man? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm doing good this morning, man. But yeah, no, I just sitting here looking at that and figure, being 6'6", Will Campbell, I mean, does have short kind of arms for being that big. But no, man, definitely he'd be a great fit with the Patriots. I feel usually, like what you're saying, mostly what you hear is about under 33, or that's like the rule of thumb, something along those lines for what I see. So, no, man, how are you doing this morning, Chris?
I'm doing good. 534 for Crenshaw Dickinson. 517 for Kelvin Banks. Tyler Booker. 539. I'll get you guys the bench press times for the wide receivers and running backs a little bit later, but right now I don't think it's necessary to worry about those bench press reps for our wide receivers and running backs. We can do that a little bit later after the 40 times during a commercial break, because this is going to be the shortest show of the week. This is the shortest one you got, and everything else after that, then we get into the pre-draft process. We get into free agency. We get into free agency and March Madness, and all those things sort of jumble together, because I know Selection Sunday for college basketball is 2 weeks from today. We get into free agency like the week before Selection Sunday. That's really when the NFL free agency rumors begin to pick up. Ursery with a 5:01 at 3:39. That is a really good 40 time. Will Campbell ran 5 seconds flat. Ursery 5:01. Those are both really good 40 times for their height, weight, size, etc.
Yeah. I was watching that one dude. What was that, back in about 10 years ago or so? Ran a 5'6", 40 at 410 pounds or something. He was playing tight end.
Yeah.
I just happened to see that one this morning. That was making me chuckle. But yeah, dude. So, 40
Speaking
times.
of linemen, if you've ever seen the movie Varsity Blues, somebody on Outkick wrote an article about Billy Bob being able to play left tackle instead of guard, where the coach plugged him in. I know the coach in the movie that had the statue built out of him, Varsity Blues. It's a great movie. I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh yeah. John Boyd
John Boyd, he's in that. Yeah.
Billy Bob with his pig's name, Bacon, or
He's got a pig named Bacon. Yes.
Yeah. For real. I don't know, man. I think Billy Bob was a little bit. He didn't have much length to him, man. He was short, like a bowling ball. So.
Yeah. But he had a lot of explosiveness. But he was used on special teams and defensive tackle on a punting play. But he had a lot of explosiveness. That's why people think he could have worked at tackle. But I think Billy Bob's more of a guard, personally. But I could see why people think he would have worked at tackle.
Yeah, he'd have been killer with that tush push, man. All they had to do was lay him down and just slide right over the top of him.
Yeah.
But yeah. I remember, what's his name? Samuel Cosme, when he played. I mean, he had almost 34-inch arms.
Yeah, Cosme, he's going to be a free agent. No, the Commanders extended Cosme. I thought he was going to be a free agent, but yeah, he got extended. So far, Ajay Cornelius, Hayden Connor, and Dylan Fairchild and Garrett Dellinger are the only 4 that haven't run the 40. A lot of active participation from this offensive line group. That's great to see. And some think this is a group where there's not a lot of Pro Bowlers, not a lot of star power, but I disagree. I don't think it's necessarily a weaker group, but we'll see what happens come draft day. I think it's going to be interesting, though, to see how this class shapes up.
That it will.
And then I think Charles Grant, Joshua Gray, Miles Hinton, some of these guys are going to be running 40s when we come back or when the commercials are over.
Man, this group of linemen, there's a bunch that are 6'5", 6'6". There's some length here, man. Some big boys. Just looking over this.
Donovan James, my friend, tweets that former NFL scout for Jets is delusional. Can't trust old boy. Is he making a reference to Daniel Kelly? It sounds like he's taking a shot at your old boss, but I couldn't say for certain.
that poor guy, man. They rip on him for that Jets thing, man, and it's like, dude, come on, man.
506.
The Jets.
Joe Huber ran a 5.22. Miles Hinton didn't run. 5.22 for Huber.
Yeah, seeing all this, I was just talking
Donovan
about
Jackson didn't run. Emory Jones didn't run. So they are splitting. They are splitting the linemen up into Group 1, Group 2, like yesterday. But most of the big names are in Group 1. That's the thing, though, William. Most of the big names are in Group 1. So Drew Kendall's the only one I got for Group 1 that. And then you're looking at Jonas Savannah, Chase Lunt, bunch of those guys in Group 2, which will probably be around 3 when you leave to do your. But this is I would argue this is the more exciting group. Group 2 notable names: Tate Ratledge, Josh Simmons. Those are the main 2 notable names. Jalen Travis, Ozzie Trapillo, Clay Webb. There's like 5 guys, but Booker, Will Campbell, Kelvin Banks, Connerly. Most of the consensus first-round picks are in this group, the group we're going to see right now. So that's the big thing I'm looking at when scouting this group, William. So, yeah. Most of the big names are in this group.
Yeah, for all the length I was talking about, not a whole lot for long arms. I'm seeing 32 1/4 with Huber and 31 3/8 with Joshua.
4.98 for Will Campbell.
Ooh.
And a 1.76 10-yard split. So very good numbers by Campbell.
I know Campbell. They've got him. I mean, I've seen quite a few drops, to where he's down around 10.
Connor Colby with a 5.15.
And but yeah,
he'll probably get a 4.97 or 4.96 on official time. Since he's the top tackle, they'll probably dock a second or 2 off his second time when they do the official 40. I don't think they'll dock more than that, though. And just when guys like us are on to what their combine's doing, they're pivoting and they're making the unofficial time the official time so that we're not on to them. It's kind of cool how that works. But yeah, Connerly's about to run again. I don't know. The group mock does start tomorrow on Facebook. That's going to be very exciting. Yeah, because
I totally forgot about all that.
David Koning's on the clock. He can send me his pick anytime between now and noon tomorrow if he wants to, but I will not post the pick officially till noon. I might go to Smoky Bones for lunch tomorrow because I have to try that brisket grilled cheese. I mean, it's got American cheese on one piece, a cheddar cheese, American cheese, and it's got barbecue brisket in the middle. And they did not have that when my dad got Smoky Bones for my family back in the day. They have that now, and they have that on College Game Day.
I
I
saw that on
kind of want to
Facebook
try
the
it.
other day, man, and definitely a brisket grilled cheese looks pretty damn good. And then I
Brisket.
saw a cheeseburger lasagna. That looked pretty
Yeah, but
unhealthy.
there's
It's
only
like, man,
3 Smoky
I'll
Bones
take
near
it
me.
like
There's
three,
one in
man.
Robinson Township, which is uber crowded. There's one in Cranberry where my mom lives, which I could lift to if I was at her house, but I'm not going to lift from my apartment to there because it costs more to lift from there and back to the one in Robinson, which is super crowded. And there's one in Allison Park. Those are the only 3 Smoky Bones in the entire Pittsburgh region. There's only 3. There's a very limited capacity when it comes to those Smoky Bones chains. That's the problem. So even though it does sound good in theory, plus the offensive line bench press reps are going to be tomorrow too. The bench press reps for the offensive linemen, I want to get those numbers finalized. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sure
way
I am
more
going to be,
important.
I'm pretty sure what I know what I'm going to do. I am open to a trade down. I'm not going to move back very far. The furthest I would move down is like 8 or 9 if I'm picking at 4. But I'm open to moving down. I don't think Ken LeBlanc is going to trade number 5. He loves having those extra late round picks. I doubt Oren will move up to 4. He'll give it minor consideration, but I don't think he wants to move up to 4. And I'm not trading with the Jets. I know they don't want the guy I'm looking at 4, but I'm not trading with a rival team. And then we got the Panthers at 8. They do not have a second round pick. They traded their second round pick to the Bears. So, I mean, if the Saints offered me 9 in their second round pick, I would be open to moving out of 4. I don't know if they're willing to do that, but I could message them after the combine today and find out if they want to do that.
That'd be interesting. I'm
Because if I
definitely
move down to
convinced.
9 and I get Will Campbell at 9, I'm getting better value, and not only am I getting better value, I'm also getting 2 second round picks and 2 third round picks for the Patriots, which is huge. Because not only do you get the guy you want at 9, you get 2 seconds and 2 thirds. That's huge. That's huge for a team in a total rebuild like the Patriots. That's huge to get that type of return.
Yeah, and I'm convinced that
I don't think
Patriots need
anyone in the
either Will
top 3 is
Campbell.
going to. Hunter's number 1 on my board, but I'm pretty certain either David or you is going to take him before I up at 4, and then Will Campbell's number 2 on my board. I do not think anybody's going to take Will Campbell before pick 9 or 10. I don't.
The
Question is,
Patriots.
what would I
I'm
have to?
convinced that the Patriots need Will Campbell or Travis Hunter.
If I could get both, I'd be open to trading both my second and both my thirds if I can get both. That's the thing, William. If I can get both, I'm open to dealing 38, 69, and 77. If I get Hunter at 4 and Will Campbell falls, I'm open to dealing both. I'm open to dealing all my day 2 picks to get both of them. I don't think 520, 245 is 665, and then 665 and 205 is 870. So 870, the earliest I can move up is 19. So basically, if Will Campbell falls to 19 or 20, then I can move up. Otherwise, I'm not going to get Campbell. And I don't think that's a realistic scenario. I do think somebody in the 11 through 20 range. In fact, I know the Niners are looking at an offensive lineman. The Niners GM in our group mocks looking at alignment. So that's the thing. I probably will not get both of them, even if I tried that. But that's the thing. If Hunter's off the board by 4, I'm going to see if I can move back and get Will Campbell and recoup some draft capital, get more draft capital for rounds 2 and 3. That's probably going to be the plan, because I'm good either way. Top 4 on my board is Travis Hunter at 1, Will Campbell at 2, Abdul Carter at 3, and Will Johnson, the Michigan corner, at 4. So even in the rare circumstance where you, Joey, and David all passed on a QB in the top 3, and took the guys I wanted just to piss me off, I could still get Will Johnson at 4. I wouldn't complain about that. But is there a way to get Travis Hunter and Will Campbell? And if there is it worth giving up a second and 2/3? I'd say it is, but your guy has to drop to like 19 or 20. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. Otherwise, that trade's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to happen. I think Campbell's going to go off the board at 11 if I don't take him. Like, I'm just playing chess going through all the scenarios here. They just went to another commercial again. So did I miss the Drew Kendall 40 time? I'm going to rewind my TV, find out if I did. Did I miss the second 40 run by Drew Campbell? 5:04, 5:08. So they're going to, the 5:04 is what they're going to keep track of. That's going to be the unofficial time for Drew Kendall. So I'm going to just type that 5:04, and then we go to the on the field drills. So pretty much all the times for Group 1 are in. Yeah, I didn't promote the weigh-ins for day 3 because I've only got 2 photos for the offensive line. I've got a Will Campbell photo and a Kelvin Banks photo. So probably promote the recap after the live stream today, and then I'll promote it again tomorrow after the bench press reps come in tomorrow morning before the group mock. So that's the thing. I want to do both of those things before 11 a.m. when I head out. If I do both those things before 11 a.m., I might head to Smoky Bones and Robinson. But if I can't, and it's a conflict of interest with the schedule, I'll probably stay here. Because it's something I want to do, but it's not something I need to do. Like, I've got enough food to last until Tuesday.
Yeah, got to treat yourself sometimes anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
Very much, man. How high do you have Connerly on your board?
Who?
Connerly.
Connor Lee? Who's that?
Yeah, the tackle. What's his name? Hold on a minute. I'm losing my mind. What is it, John Connerly?
Josh Connerly. I have him at
Josh
7
Connerly.
on my board.
At 7?
Yeah, Ian Pilcher, the 24th pick in the MLS draft by San Diego FC, made his debut. And San Diego FC took Manu Du at 1. They took a defensive midfielder first overall for the first time in history. We never saw a defensive midfielder go number 1 in soccer. Usually it's central forwards, it's striker, or midfielders or center backs that go number 1. There was 2018, I think a right back went number 1 overall. Fullbacks at right back, left back, wide backs, whatever term you want to use. They defend against the wing. They've gone number 1 in the past, but defensive midfielder, that never happened until this year. And the defensive midfielder for San Diego at 1 is not up in the MLS number 1 pick, but the number 24 pick is up and played well in 19 minutes off the bench. So, and Campbell, 20.02 miles an hour, Kelvin Banks, 19.89. So if the MLS draft translates to the NFL draft, that means picks 4, 14, 24, and 27 are the best picks. Teams that have those picks: Patriots, Colts, Ravens, and Vikings. So those teams could be the teams that end up getting steals. And if the NFL draft goes exactly like the MLS draft did, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. The wave drill, we're seeing the linemen work out in the wave drill. Kelvin Banks is going to start off.
Oh, Connerly had a 34.5-inch vertical. Ain't bad.
Yep.
Will Campbell, 32. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the mock drafts I'm seeing for the Niners.
I like Kelvin Banks' pass blocking footwork on tape, but there's a lot of people who don't. And Kelvin Banks Jr.'s feet did look kind of slanted in the wave drill. They didn't look necessarily straight. He did a nice job planting his feet, moving his toes, but his feet were kind of slanted, kind of. And if that's a red flag, that might be something.
for sure. Yeah, I seem to see a lot of mock drafts with the Niners picking either Connerly or Simmons or some of them.
Yeah, I've got Simmons at 34 on my board. I've got
Mhm.
Connerly at 27.
Of
I've
course
got Banks
that's
at
a lot of
15.
the fans
Will
out there
Campbell
that are.
tripped on the wave drill, but I'm not really putting as much stock into that.
Yeah.
I know it's pretty rare to see the top player to position trip on the wave drill, but at least he's getting up and getting back in. He is having trouble maintaining his balance, though. That is something. So twice he had trouble maintaining his balance.
Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, they're talking up Connerly quite a bit on here.
There's only
Yeah.
one N in Josh Connerly. I thought there were two N's in Connerly. I'm going back to make sure I didn't screw up via spell check. No, I did not. Thank God.
Hate it when that happens. And some of them fans get real picky too when you screw up on your English somewhere or something.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'm seeing what people are saying about Will Campbell after the wave drill. Um, I'm seeing what people are saying about Will Campbell after the wave drill on Twitter after he tripped twice. I'm just curious what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Will Campbell, take it easy, little fella. Slip and slide Sunday.
Yeah, NFL.com here they got him with a 6.44 the Will Campbell
He
6'6"
slipped up.
319.
He slipped up twice in the drill. Insists he's fine. He's back in the line as of now.
Maybe he'll slide down to the 49ers because of that. I'll take him at 11. I really think after the whole Devo trade and stuff yesterday, they really need to be taking a look at Luther Burden there at number 11.
He had the best speed, 20.2 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm. They've got him compared to Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm not convinced that Will Campbell went 27 straight games without allowing a sack. The overwhelming majority of those games were against SEC competition. I'm not overly concerned with his arm length, Andrew Siciliano.
Mm-hmm.
So neither am I. Neither is Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, being a huge problem at all. Definitely not a deal breaker. Who else we got in here?
Cutler to Forte. Good news, Will Campbell is really good. Bad news, Will Campbell might be a little too good. Um, He had a relative athletic score of 948 at tackle, but 961 for speed at tackle, but he has a perfect relative athletic score at guard. But he ranked 17 out of 1379 offensive tackles from 1987 to 2025. So that's pretty good.
Yes, sir.
So Jake Majors, who I thought would be in Group 2, did work out in Group 1. I thought Jake Majors would be the first lineman in Group 2, but I guess Chase Lunt and Jake Majors are not running the 40s, because if they're in Group 1 in the on-the-field drills, that means they chose not to run the 40s. And that also means that Chase Lunt is also in Group 1, because if Jake Majors is working out in Group 1, that means Lunt is also in Group 1, because it goes in alphabetical order, which means Marcus Mabeau leads Group 2 with the 40s. But hey, it's good to know, because I would have presumed Lunt and Majors were in Group 2 of the offensive line. And they're showing Lane Johnson, Will Campbell, and Joe Alt running the 40s against each other. Yeah, Campbell finished ahead of Alt, but behind Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson just had an exceptional 40 time for a tackle, 4.72, back in 2013 when the Eagles drafted him 4th out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Checking out Daniel Jeremiah's big board here. Got Shedeur at 15. How'd Mike Green look the other day?
Mike Green looked pretty good.
I know a few people were kind of talking about him. You know, not quite as high as after they were talking. You know, at the Senior Bowl with him. But so that'll be interesting. Oh, Jeremiah's got Omarion Hampton at number 19. Yeah, actually got him in the first. Matthew Golden had a good day yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah.
Don't quite have his 40 here, but Jeremiah's got him ranked. Got him moved up to it at number 22.
Yeah, so there was a third NHL trade after we got off the air yesterday. It was bigger than the other two I reported. Seth Jones, the Chicago Blackhawks best defenseman, traded to the Florida Panthers for goalie Spencer Knight, the Florida Panthers 2019 first round pick that hasn't worked out because Bobrovsky's just been that much better, and a 2027 first round pick. So that trade went through, and the Blackhawks were paying Seth Jones $9.5 million. He was underperforming. So Panthers will take on that contract till 2030, but the Blackhawks retain 25% of the salary. So the Panthers aren't paying $9.5 million. They're probably paying like $7 million or $6 million. I'll look at the contract. It's a commercial. I've got time to look at the contract quickly here, but we're probably going back to football as soon as the commercial ends. But $9.5 million per season, 8 years, $76 million, $9.5 million per season. And that contract went into effect in 22-23. So that contract runs through the 29-20-30 season. So this year, there's still 6 years left on that contract, including this season. Wow, the official 40 times for the linemen are up just like that. Wow. Okay, NFL, we get it. Your butt hurt
Dang.
about me talking about this hockey trade. I get it. I'll post the 40 times. You did this shit. You did this shit yesterday. You did this on Friday whenever I was getting a snack. All right. You win. We won't talk about the trade anymore. I'm going to update the 40 times. But it's just funny how they post the official 40 times at the most inopportune times. It is funny. I mean, I'm not. All right, I'll pull up the NFL app here and get the 40 times because I don't want to rewind or fast forward, but I do want to get some of the 40 times that are officially up. But I didn't think they'd get the 40 times up that quick. But I guess it's only one group. Booker had the slowest 40 time at 5:38, but Banks ran a 5:16 official. Belton ran a 5:26. Booker ran a 5:38. This is the long pole drill that they're doing with the linemen. Logan Brown, Donovan Jackson did a good job in the long pole. Emory Jones, how will he do in the long pole? He's done a nice job in the long pole. Connerly. How will Connerly do? Oh, Connerly ran a 5:05 officially. And yeah, Chase Lunt is just not working out. He's not even doing the on the field drills. He has an undrafted grade. If you have an undrafted grade, I would advise you to do the 40 and the on the field drills. He's not doing either. That's just not smart. You're leaving money on the table, man. It's just not smart.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah, Lunt is like the guy who just doesn't cash a check. $5.02 for Eli Cox. Crenshaw Dickinson with a 5.33. Official.
And apparently Daniel Jeremiah doesn't know how to rank tight ends either. He's got Elijah Arroyo at number 45.
I don't have him in the first round either.
No. I don't see 45 at all.
I'm not high.
You know?
I think Arroyo's a backup at the NFL, but he did well at the Senior Bowl, so he might get overdrafted because of that. It happens every year. A guy does well at the Senior Bowl and they get overdrafted. Remember, the Raiders took Leatherwood in the first round, and I liked Leatherwood. I was a lot higher on him than people were on Arroyo. But, you know.
Yeah. Arroyo, he's got a chance to develop, but, you know, just talking about it, it's still probably, you know, a fifth round choice or so. You know, tight ends generally aren't overdrafted, you know, so. And there's a few in this draft, so. Of course, Jeremiah's got Warren and Loveland in his top 7, though, overall.
Drew Kendall with a 5.05. All right. Finally got the 40 times updated. This is the deep pull drill. Will Campbell really excelling in this drill, the deep pull. Yeah, but before so I guess there was a drill when the 40 times came in that I missed. There was the deep pull. I'm going to look up last year's combine that I archived for 2024 to make sure I have the correct because they all go in the drills. So you got the wave drill, you've got the long pull and the pull drill. So you have the regular pull drill and the deep pull drill. So that's what I missed is the regular pull drill. Okay. All right. At least we got that cleared up.
Rebel Caleb Johnson. Oh man, Jeremiah's got Caleb Johnson at 47 too. He's got some different rankings here. That's for sure.
So yeah, basically all the 40 times are updated officially now, official 40 times as well as unofficial. Yeah, I'll type some of the notes, some of what I'm seeing. I'll get that updated for group 1.
What else is going on at the combine today, man?
It's just
linemen working out.
Yeah, Wednesday apparently they moved the kickers. The only change they made to the combine is that the kickers, punters, and long snappers get their own day on Wednesday, but it's not televised. They used to work out with the tight ends and defensive backs back in the day, if you remember, William, but they changed it so now the kickers, punters, and long snappers, they get their own day. So there's technically 5 days of workouts now instead of 4, but only the 4 days are televised, and the kickers aren't televised. So that information is top secret unless you go to Indy. But I don't blame NFL Network for doing that because special teams isn't valued as much as offense and defense. And the short pull drill is coming up.
Yeah.
But most of these offensive line drills showcase run blocking strength and run blocking footwork versus pass blocking strength and pass blocking footwork. Like the wave drill is literally the only drill so far that showcased pass blocking footwork for the linemen, if you get what I'm saying, William. The other drills have mainly focused on run blocking.
Right.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does limit the amount of data you can gauge on the players at the combine if more of the drills are catered to run blocking versus pass blocking.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of interesting they're doing it that way.
But it's the same way with the defensive backs. More of the drills cater to zone coverage versus man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a good read on the zone coverage for each player, not necessarily the man coverage. I wish they would do a one-on-one drill at the combine like they do at the Senior Bowl, but I don't think they will due to player safety. So both Kelvin Banks and Anthony Belton are lined up here.
Let's see.
Yeah, Banks could be considered. I would say Banks is a winner for today. But I don't know, like Kansas left tackle Logan Brown looked good in the short drill.
Good deal. We were just talking about him the other day.
Yep.
Yeah. Connerly as well.
Josh Connerly. All right. So we got enough data to where we can update this paragraph and still type some notes for the guys that are set to work out. Eli Cox just finished the short drill. I'm not as high on Crenshaw Dickinson. I think the Florida left tackle that's returning to campus is better. I do like Florida center. But Ursari's had a good day. Antoine Ursari's looked good in the short drill. It's probably his best on the field drill so far.
Dixon only had like a 24-inch vertical, man. 22 or something. 22, 4.5. I just saw that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not a very good showing. What did I do with the damn lighter? Oh.
The architecture in Indianapolis reminds me of the architecture in Mobile, Alabama, except it's just more sophisticated. That's the only difference. The buildings are bigger. As far as the architecture, the buildings are bigger, and it just looks a little bit more sophisticated. But I get a lot of Mobile, Alabama vibes with Indianapolis. It's weird. I shouldn't be getting those type of vibes with Indy because Indy's a pro sports town. It's a blue collar pro sports town, and Mobile's more of a college town, but it's a very high end, very fun college town.
Yeah, I've actually never been to either place.
I've been to Mobile. I haven't been to Indy, but they're showing off a lot of the scenery.
Right on.
I've been to a few places twice. I've been to Boston twice. I've been to New York twice. I've been to Chicago twice. I've been to Las Vegas twice. I've been to Mobile, Alabama twice. I think that's it. I've been to Miami twice too. So I've been to a few locations twice. I think I've been to LA twice too, but I would rank LA below those cities because the Wi-Fi in LA, the last time I went to LA, the Wi-Fi was just not good to see my brother.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is not good in LA.
That's not surprising. That's California for you.
Yeah.
I was out there for a bit as a kid, and I much preferred Northern California. My dad was a salmon fisherman out in Brookings, Oregon.
Yeah, from what I hear, Northern California is better than the Southern California area. San Francisco, St. Helena, Sacramento, a lot of the cities in Northern California, from what I hear, they're better than Southern California, where you have LA, you have Long Beach, you have Anaheim. I don't know if that's true or not. If you live in California and want to comment on this, you can, but I'm not sure I'm going to read the comments if they're unrelated to the combine on the show. But if you want to comment on that in the chat room and you live in California from personal experience, you can. But I'm not sure William and I are going to acknowledge that on the show. It's like, you're free to comment on that if you want to.
San Francisco was as far south as I ever got as a kid. And my mom, she absolutely loves that town. And, I guess that's where all the where I became a Niners fan, and such.
Eric Edholm has Shadur Sanders dropping to the Jets at 7. I could actually see that, as crazy as that sounds. But he also has Will Campbell dropping to the Bears at 10. I don't think he's going to fall that far, but we'll see.
Yeah, for real. That is like I said, the one thing that I can really, see Shadur, having that shot is with Brady in Las Vegas. I mean Brady. I'm just not sure if Brady would do something like that. So
pass rush drops drill. So I don't think that's interesting. Kelvin Banks not participating in the pass rush drill. Well, I thought he was. Kelvin Banks, Anthony. Well, pass rush drops drill. Will Campbell looked sound in that drill.
Yeah, Jeremiah had a Shador dropping 4 spots to 15 on his big board.
Yeah, I've got him at like 57, late second round of my big board.
Mm-hmm. Of course, he thinks he's what, number one? Was that? I don't know if that was real the other day when he said that, but yeah, thinking he's going to be the number one overall pick, and that's like I was saying. If a quarterback goes number one, it's going to be Cam Ward. I lied to see Cam Ward going first as a quarterback anyway, not just necessarily number one overall, but. I know I would have, instead of that 5th round pick that they got for Debo, that they were talking about trading
Only
Jonathan,
one player, the Florida right tackle, hasn't looked good in this drill. Everybody else has looked good in this pass rush drop drill. Even Miles Frazier.
Yeah. Jalen Walker. I think the Niners definitely need a defensive tackle, And I think the Eagles absolutely proved that with the way that they, dominated the Chiefs. Sometimes Shanahan is good at outsmarting himself, though. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to look up.
Interesting. I do think this tackle class is. I do think this offensive line group's better than advertised, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Let's see. Draft prospect visits. I'm going to run in over here and see who they're showing for visits.
Yeah, Gunnar Helm had a high ankle sprain at the combine while running the 40-yard dash.
Was that before or after? Because he ran
well. I wish NFL Network would use game film instead of highlights to sell the prospects, but because they have so little time to break everything down, they use highlights to try to sell the prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Bulaga, I don't know if I agree with that comp. Kelvin Banks, Bulaga, I'm not sure I agree with that comp. But I get it. They're looking for players who have identical arm lengths, different things, different traits.
Yeah, that's the only time I really get into comparisons and such is when they're doing something that actually, reminds you of them, as as far as a comparison, and that's why sometimes I have them, sometimes I don't, and I seem to be having the worst time finding the visit charts.
So they're going to do the pass. Oh, Kelvin Banks is going to do the pass rush drops drill.
Prospect rankings. Yeah, I can't find the visits for anything. You got that information anywhere, Chris?
Like team visits?
Yeah, the prospect visits. Yeah.
For what player?
I was just going to see who the Niners were visiting with, and some of the higher ones.
I'm going to look up the Patriots, and I'm going to look up the 49ers prospect visits. All right, so Hula Bowl, only players from the Hula Bowl. These are mainly day 3 guys. I want day 1, day 2 guys for now, and then I'll work into day 3 guys. But yeah, the Connerly and Trapillo are the 2 guys they visited at the Senior Bowl. Marcus Mabo, Quincy Riley, Princely Umani, and Anthony Belton, Ursery. And then the Combine, they did visits with Abdul Carter, Nick Scorton, Jihad Campbell, Danny Stutzman, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Barrett Carter, Gavin Bartholomew, Bryson Nesbitt, O'Marion Hampton, Will Campbell, Restrepo, Matthew Golden, Travis Hunter. So
Figure they'd be looking at some defensive line too. So a lot of those visits look.
yeah, 49ers pre-draft visits. I know I'm changing topics. I'm still paying attention. A lot of the guys that worked out in the pass rush drop drill, this is the pass rush drops drill. The only difference is there's 2 blockers instead of 1. It's basically the same drill. College Gridiron Showcase. Jesse Johnson, Bo Spearman, Hula Bowl. They've looked at a lot more players. 49ers did a lot more work at the Hula Bowl versus the Patriots. But I don't really see any notable names or player. Ollie Jennings is probably the one guy from the Hula Bowl that I think stood out. And then the Tropical Bowl, I don't really see a big name stand out from that. And then Senior Bowl, they RJ Harvey, they met with RJ Harvey, Terrence Ferguson, Jaw Joyner, Jacob Parrish, Marcus Yarn. So there's a few players that from the Senior Bowl that I actually do like for the 49ers in terms of fit. And then Fairweather, Gadsden, tight ends of the East-West Shrine Bowl. They are doing some work on the tight ends. They met with Kelvin Banks. They met with Will Campbell. They met with Connerly. They met with Harold Fannin. They met with Brandon Adams, Zy Alexander, RJ Harvey again. They had a second meeting with RJ Harvey at the Combine. RJ Harvey to the 49ers could become a thing. I'm just saying it could. They've already met with him twice.
And
Will
that's one
Johnson.
thing, Jordan Mason. I mean, he's an all right running back, but he's still limited. And Isaac Garindo, they got him in what, the third last year, and he doesn't seem to run as fast as that 4.3 time. He
Yeah.
doesn't look that fast on film.
I had a fifth round grade on Garendo. I was not as high on him as the Niners, but Max Hairston,
Mm-hmm.
O'Marion Hampton, Will Johnson, they're looking at Walter Nolan, Quincy Riley. They're looking at a lot of guys. What I noticed with the Niners is their pro day list is a lot lengthier than the Patriots. Their combine list and their Hula Bowl list, their list was lengthier and it went into greater detail than the Patriots. That's just my opinion on that.
Mm-hmm. Taylor. Oh, they visited with your boy Rock Taylor.
Yep.
But yeah, ever since Debo trade, they're definitely going to have to draft a wide receiver someplace. It's going to be interesting to see, who it ends up
Yep.
being.
They might just go with I think Pearsall's more of a slot receiver, but they might treat him like a number 2 receiver and just play it safe, play it
Yeah,
uber conservative.
yeah. I think he's like you said, much better slot than he can definitely play
I think he
outside.
can be a number 2
I
receiver, but
saw
I don't
that.
think he's a number. I don't know. For some reason, I had a 91 on him for potential at the end of the process, but at the beginning of the process, I had him in the 85 to 87 range, where I'm thinking he's more of a high end number 2. I think he can be a
Mm-hmm.
number 1, but it's not going to be by year 4 or year 5. Right now, heading into year 2, he's probably a slot for one more year, but they're going to try to make him a number 2 a year early, even if there are drawbacks to that.
Oh, they visited with Colston Loveland too.
They've visited with a lot of tight ends.
Mm-hmm. Mason Taylor as well. That's a Graham Mertz. What the hell are they visiting with Graham Mertz for?
I don't know. Maybe they want to back up to Purdy. That's going to cost next to nothing.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
A lot of players have done well in the mirror drill. Joe Huber's up next, and I think the linemen have looked really good so far.
Looks like the Panthers have looked at a lot of the visited with a lot of the same players the Niners
Yeah.
have too. couple of the tight ends and Jack Beck and what's his name, that running back from Tootin from Virginia Tech. He ran what, like a 4.28 or 4.29 yesterday. Walter Nolan too.
Jake Majors is the only player who may have struggled or showed hesitation in the mirror drill. So they should start. You know how some teams like to use linemen as receivers? They should have the linemen do the gauntlet drill just to see what linemen test are best used as like a flex tackle and a pass it as an eligible receiver. They should start doing that, but they're not going to.
Right.
Because it would give us a lot better idea of what tackles you could use in like a Dan Skipper flex tackle eligible receiver role if you made the lineman do the gauntlet.
Right.
But what I would do if I were an NFL team and I got sent to pro days is I'd have the lineman do the gauntlet at the pro days. I'd start doing it because then I'd have intel no other team has on that player. Yeah, you get linemen to block, not to receive, but some of the linemen do receive. It'll be interesting, though. Will Campbell with the top time in terms of only 4 sacks allowed on 1,509 pass blocking snaps in career, and all 4 of those sacks came this season. He didn't allow a sack in 22 or 23. So, and I get it, he allowed 11 quarterback hurries this year. You watch his 22-23 tape, it's much better than what he did this year. All right, what drill is this? They didn't specify what drill this is. NFL Network didn't. They'll have like a visual next screen drill. So yep. All these guys, Colby doing really well in the screen drill here. A lot of these linemen are doing really well in these drills today for Group 1. I mean, they're setting the bar so high, I'm not even sure Group 2 is going to meet that drill.
Yeah. Let's see. Plus 20. Oh no. Shedeur Sanders' final GPA surfaces. .011. It's not terribly bad. Travis Hunter had close to a 4.0. I should have probably opened a book in college, but without opening a book, I still had a 3.53.
Travis Hunter's IQ is probably in the
bad.
137 to 146 range. Shedeur Sanders' IQ is probably in the 107 to 121 range. That's what I get from that.
That sounds about right.
Just looking at the GPAs. That's just an estimate. I'm not entirely accurate on this. I'm not even saying I'm accurate. I'm just saying it's an estimate of what it could be.
Yeah. That sounds like a pretty close estimate, though, man. So I'll give you that.
Because it's hard to get a read on a player's IQ. It's really hard to get a read on a player's IQ. They don't do the IQ tests like they did back in the day with the Wonderlic at the Combine now.
Yeah. That was the one thing, you know, when I first started doing evaluations and such, it was like, dude, you know, I mean, I would just love to have 5 minutes talking to some of these players, you know, just to see, you know, how their brain works, you know, who they are, that, you know, that kind of thing. It's definitely underrated, you know, being able to see those and get a feel for, you know, exactly who a player is.
Yeah, I remember interviewing Matt Part at the 2020 Senior Bowl, and then after I asked him my question, he asked someone else a question after I turned off my Draft Utopia microphone that you can see here. I remember him saying, "I'm sorry about that other person." I think he may have been referring to me at the time, but that was my first year in Mobile, and I wasn't trying to do anything to. I don't even know what I did wrong at the time. But, you know, it's 5 years ago. Nobody cares. It's in the past. But that was my first year. If it was my second year or my 10th year, but, you know, it's one of those things where you're in that moment and you're too naive to understand the bigger picture. I was at the time, but yeah. All right, so it's reloaded the page, and yeah, it's pretty much everybody in Group 1. That's the entire list. So I can just observe those guys, and then Group 2 is probably going to work out. I hope they start Group 2 before 3, but knowing the Combine, knowing that it's going to end exactly at 5 or after 5, they're probably going to make us. They're probably going to end. I would say they're going to end in 15, 20 minutes. Group 1, and then they're going to make us wait another 30 minutes for Group 2, knowing the Combine behavior and the patterns and crap, William, knowing the patterns they ran all week. They're probably going to make me wait till 3:10, 3:15 for Group 2, and I think at 3 you got some other business you got to take care of off the air, and then maybe you'll come back, maybe you won't, we'll see. But this is the bulk of the good players are in Group 1. There's a few other guys like Josh Simmons in Group 2, but the bulk of the big names are in this group.
Yeah. I'll probably be back after 3. Like I said, I've got that little bit I have to go do, but should probably be back.
And Going Places presented by Toyota. We know Tyler Booker's going places, okay? He's 16 on my board. I think he's 15 or 16 on my board. He's going to have a big day. He's had a big day.
My dog's over here yelling at me.
That does sound cool.
He's mad at me. My computer and phone are getting more attention than he is. It's so terrible. He's tried to hide my phone from me before. That was interesting because he thought it was getting more
37.5-inch
attention.
vertical for Will
He
Campbell.
was.
Broad jump 9.3 for Logan Brown. Passing on Cam Ward will prove to be a mistake in the draft. Every team that needs a quarterback needs to get into position, trade draft picks, players, throw in Starbucks gift cards, whatever it takes. Daniel Kelly, throw in Starbucks gift cards to get Cam Ward. I've just never heard Starbucks gift cards used in that context when it comes to the NFL draft. It's funny. It's original, but it's also kind of funny.
Indeed.
The Jets have contacted the Titans to discuss the number 1 pick to get Cam Ward. Potential trade package number 7.
I'm wondering just how bad Jordan Travis's leg is, man, because they still had him
So
physically
here's
unable
what
to
the
perform.
package would include: 7, 42, a 2026 second round pick, and a 2027 second round pick. If the Jets threw in Garrett Wilson, who actually wants to be traded, they could get number 1. I know they don't want to trade Garrett Wilson, but he's basically said that if Aaron Rodgers stays, he wants a trade. But
Yeah,
if
that's the
you've
cost of
already
doing
offered
business.
that many picks, if you throw in Garrett Wilson, Cam Ward is pretty much yours. You're that close. You're that close. I don't think they could throw in Garrett Wilson,
Yeah,
but if you throw him in, you pretty much get that pick.
yeah. I don't think
But if
Garrett
you're the
Wilson by any
Titans and the
stretch
Jets
of
have
the
already offered
imagination
that much,
would
you tell
be.
the Jets, you give us Garrett Wilson or Sauce Gardner or
Yeah,
Jeremiah Johnson, you give us one of your 3 first-round picks from 22, we will do this.
yeah.
Jeremiah,
I don't think Garrett Wilson is by any means
I think if the Jets
untouchable.
were willing to trade any of those 3, it would be Jeremiah Johnson because Will McDonald broke out this year. And Jeremiah Johnson Jr., even though he started the year at right end, he got a season-ending injury in like week 3 or week 4, and then Will McDonald went off after that. And took the right end job from Jeremiah Johnson could still start at left end next to Will McDonald, but McDonald's now that number 1 sack artist on that team. So I do think the Jets would be willing to throw in Jeremiah Johnson if it guaranteed them the number 1 pick. I don't think they'd throw in Wilson or Sauce Gardner, but I do think they would throw in Jeremiah Johnson just to get that pick. And then you'd have Landry and Jeremiah Johnson as your edge rushers. So, I mean, that's not a bad return if you can get the Jets to throw in Jeremiah Johnson or Garrett Wilson. I do think it. I would say yes to this. I would sign off and say yes to this.
Yeah, I can see either one of those players too. Not so much on the Sauce Gardner one, but Johnson or Wilson, I don't think would be untouchable. So that would definitely be interesting
to go
to
from
see.
a maybe to a definitive yes. Definitive, we're moving out of
Right.
one. Yeah, and if Garrett Wilson got traded to the Titans, he'd have a worse QB situation than he had with the Jets. unless they get somebody good in free agency. So
I just don't know why the Jets have
if
never
the Jets have already
been
offered
able to really get a
the Jets have
quarterback,
already
dude.
offered those picks to move up from 7-1, then you have to think that the Giants and the Browns are going to have to increase their offers. And the Raiders, too. All three of those teams are going to have to increase their current offers.
Let's see. Chris Trapasso? I never heard of that guy. He's got Sanders going number 1 to the Raiders. That's crazy. Too many people trying to get noticed too much. Throw stuff at a wall and hope it sticks. Thanks. I've seen a lot of people talking about Ashton Jeanty to Chicago too. That's kind of, I don't know about that, but of course they're probably trying to do everything they can for Caleb Williams. Getting a good running back would be not bad for the Bears after, but
So I do think this is a strong offer, but it's not an offer that I'd pull the trigger on either. But I do think this is the strongest offer you're going to get. This is the best return you're going to get. So, and yeah, I'm probably, since they're not showing, I'm probably just going to share the day 4 of the combine right now. I'm going to share that in a few groups because, yeah, I think the first group of offensive linemen is done. The fact that they're taking this long of a break, in fact, though I haven't seen them do any other individual drills, that tells me group 1 is finished, and they're just going to clutter the show with ads. They're going to clutter the show with ads until yeah, so we'll see what happens with that, but I don't think group 2 is going to start till 3, and they're basically going to use this to clutter this time frame to clutter with ads.
how fast did Luther Burden run?
Okay, I'll you know what? One thing we haven't done is I said we'd do earlier is pull up the bench press reps for the running backs and receivers. We did not do that today, so I'll do that now. I'll do that right now because we got commercials. I've already posted the live version of this show in like 18 Facebook groups. So, and I'll post a full link to the show later today, along with the actual recap of the offensive lineman. Bench press reps are not going to be out till tomorrow morning, but yeah, Luther Burden ran a 4.41 official. He did not do the bench press. Oh, crap. I forgot Pat Bryant. I forgot to put DNP next to Pat Bryant's bench press time. Crap. I thought I got all the bench press reps. Crap. I swear I thought I got all the reps, but I didn't. So there. skipped one. I don't think I skipped any, but yeah. Felton, 16 reps on the bench press. Jalen Lane, 14 reps. Jalen Noel with 23 reps was the most among the receivers in the bench press. Restrepo didn't work out in the 40-yard dash, but he did 17 reps in the bench press. And why does it say I have a second on Restrepo? I have a first on Restrepo. I guess I had a second on him initially when I did this, but I have a first on Restrepo. He might go day 2, but I have a first on Restrepo. All right, let's get that fixed. All right, so yeah. But those are the run. Now I'll get the running back bench press reps here. 18 reps for Taj Brooks, 23 for Donovan Edwards. He led running backs in bench press reps. ETN with 15, Hampton with 18, Harvey with 16, 21 for Jarquez Hunter, 19 for Corey Kinner, who has smaller hands than Donald Trump. You're not going to hear the end of that, Corey. Even if you're Mr. Irrelevant in the draft. It's just never happened in the history. Trump's got 8 and 1 4 inch hands. So the fact that any NFL prospect has smaller hands than Trump, that is just bulletin board material for me. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. You're just feeding us bulletin board material.
I just looked at this one freaking mock draft on here, dude, and they've got Luther Burden going 13 to the Miami Dolphins.
I've got Luther Burden ahead of McMillan on my latest board, but winners and losers for today, I don't think there were any losers, but I also don't feel like there were any winners. I feel like this group pretty much validated where we have everybody in the draft rankings.
Yeah. That's kind of pretty much it. All that's happened. But and they have Burden compared to Deebo Samuel.
I could see that.
I don't think he's fast enough for McDaniels to bat an eye at, though. That's why I was asking that 4-4-1. I think comparing Travis Hunter here to Champ Bailey is a bit much.
That is way too much.
Mm-hmm.
That is Leonardo DiCaprio snorting coke in the war room like the Wolf of Wall Street too much.
Snort off a freaking.
Yeah, he stabs the couch, finds a bag of cocaine in the couch, and he just snorts a line in the war room. And then he says Travis Hunter, Champ Bailey. That's pretty much how that comp came to fruition.
I think so. Man, I gotta see what other crazy freaking click on some of these other picks they have here to see the comparisons. This is rather amusing.
Yep.
Who the hell is this anyway? Mike Renner, CBS Sports. Got Cam Ward number 1. And compared to Jordan Love. Abdul Carter. Has Abdul Carter compared to Cliff Averill? I haven't heard that name for a minute.
Cliff Averill, that's the comp for Abdul Carter. That's an insulting comp. I do think he's closer to Courtney Brown than Myles Garrett, but I wouldn't compare him to either player.
Yeah.
I mean, comparing Abdul Carter to Cliff Averill is the equivalent of making Not Another Teen Movie, which is just a ripoff of a bunch of other movies like Varsity Blues. It's a ripoff of She's All That. It's a ripoff of a lot of different movies and a lot of the characters. Yeah, so Reggie Ray in Not Another Teen Movie is a ripoff version of Billy Bob. So basically, and they reference all the characters. They reference all the characters that Bruce, the wannabe from Not Another Teen Movie, is a ripoff of Daniel LaRusso, Jim Levinstein from American Pie, and Kenny Fisher from Can't Hardly Wait was Seth Green's character in that movie. So, yeah, basically.
All right, this dude compares Shadur Sanders to Geno Smith.
No, that's a pretty common comp. That's the comp Jeremiah made in the summer.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's probably not far off. It actually sounds pretty.
I see more of a Jason Campbell, or I get more of a Jason Campbell, Aaron Brooks vibe with Shadur Sanders than I do Geno Smith. But that's not a bad comp.
Yeah, I can see those two as well. That makes for an interesting thought.
Yeah,
I wonder.
they get all these big binders. The NFL media, they get all these binders. I bet they have to read through these like midterms after, and like right after the Super Bowl, they get these combine binders, and I bet they have to go through them like midterms before the combine, so they have everything memorized. They can look into the camera and they know what to say. But they also have them open during commercial breaks. Chris Rose, you have not done a season of BattleBots in 2 years. What's going on with that? I know you and Kenny Florian had that show on for many years, but I don't know what's going on. I think they. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up, but yeah, it's like, come on, this is the wait here is just like it's taking forever.
We've got Ashton Jeanty compared to Marshawn Lynch.
Yep.
What else we got? Let's see who Walter Nolan's compared to. Breland Speaks. This guy's comparisons are getting boring now. And he compares Tyler Warren to Luke Musgrave. Yeah, I compared Luke Musgrave to Greg Olson. That seemed like a much looking for him to get healthy too. You know, I mean, that was one problem with Luke Musgrave. And, you know, through college, it was like he was hurt. You know, and all you got to see was his athleticism. You know, didn't get to see him play a whole lot. Didn't get to see a whole lot. I mean, it was a tough evaluation. You know.
Yep.
Human Yori.
Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders. I do think if the Patriots trade Devon Godchaux, they're going to get Mason Graham at 4. But if they don't trade him, I think they're going to pick Will Campbell. Because they gave Godchaux an extension in November of 2024 last year. And now they gave him permission to seek a trade right after the contract's kicking in. So I don't think they're going to trade him unless the value's there. But you could probably get a good player because this draft's so deep at defensive tackle. Even if you get a 5th round pick for Devon Godchaux, and you hit on, as long as you hit on that pick, you're going to have cap space. You're going to have a lot of cap space, and you're going to have a really good nose tackle and a rookie deal. Or you can take Mason Graham at 4 if you trade Godshow, have him on a rookie deal as well. That's also an option.
Yeah, this one I'm looking at, they've got Mason Graham going at number 4. So that's kind of, must be going off that same kind of logic. They've got him compared to Christian Wilkins.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And this other one here has a Patriots grabbing Hunter at number. I'm bored with these ones. Now I'm going to have to go find somebody else to make fun of.
Yep. Ukrainian sympathizers have occupied Times Square, New York. Yeah, I'm just reading stuff on Twitter. Yeah, I'm hoping. There is a hockey game on TNT. St. Louis Blues, Dallas Stars. It's at 5 p.m. Central, which is 6 Eastern. So that's perfect because the combine ends at 5, and then I can just go straight to TNT whenever the combine ends. Even if the combine runs 20 or 30 minutes late, I can just go to TNT and wait for that game to start because TNT's airing a triple header in hockey. Crosby got his 1,050th assist. They made a big deal about it. TNT, they're waiting too long for Group 2 to start, so I'm going to take a quick.
Gotcha.
There's a commercial on TNT, so we're going back to NFL Network. You're lucky. There was a commercial, NFL Network. I'm pointing my finger and I'm wagging very sternly at NFL Network, hoping they start the 40s for Group 2 soon. But they're probably going to wait till 3 and be jerks about it. Knowing them, knowing the patterns, knowing them, that's probably what we're going to see.
Abdul Carter.
Star ran into Ginty in an airport, had a great convo, told him sorry for the Ducks gear, but he did his stuff against us. Really cool dude.
Clicked on another one. They've got Hunter going at pick 4 to the Patriots. That seems to be the most popular one I've seen today, anyway. Let's see. Oh, well, that was the wrong one.
Jeremy Fowler is reporting that the Browns are eyeing Carson Wentz as their stopgap.
The Browns, huh? I guess that's not an absolutely terrible thing. Probably get them pretty cheap. Oh, I'm gonna do a search here.
Yep. But the reason the Florida Panthers traded for Seth Jones $9.5 million is very simple. Matthew Tkachuk, who's making $10 million a year at right wing with the Florida Panthers, got put on long-term IR. And so when a hockey player gets put on long-term IR, they are no longer part of the team's active salary cap. It's the same way if a player tears their ACL and you put them on IR and you rule them out for a year. That player's exempt from the salary cap until they come back and are medically cleared to play. So that's a loophole teams can use to get around the salary cap. in hockey and in football. But crazy thing is, it's more common to see teams get around that loophole in hockey versus football.
Yeah.
But I don't get it. Aaron Ekblad's Florida's best defender, former #1 pick in the 2014 NHL draft. Instead of extending him, they're basically doing what the St. Louis Blues did, because the Blues did the same thing when they beat the Bruins in the 2019 Stanley Cup. They gave a former Carolina Hurricanes defender who was really good an 8-year contract, and that ended up keeping them from getting extending Alex Pietrangelo, who went to the Vegas Golden Knights once he hit the open market in free agency. So I just, you don't want to do something that's going to, taking on the Seth Jones contract pretty much means he's your defender one when Ekblad leaves next year. And I don't know if he's going to excel in that role, because he struggled in that role with the Blackhawks, but we'll see. Pickle balls, dill pickle corn puffs. Yeah, this is from Daniel Kelly's timeline as he's scouting. He's scouting a player on Ole Miss or Arkansas. Who is this? 2024. He's got all the games listed. Walter Nolan. You can zoom in on the journal that Kelly uses to get all his notes, and the player he's scouting is Walter Nolan. And
Nice.
he's eating dill pickle corn puffs while scouting him. And right under that Daniel Kelly Facebook post is a pepperoni pizza bombs ad. So Facebook is trying to promote pepperoni pizza bombs after Daniel Kelly posts dill pickle corn puffs. So that might be the weirdest Facebook ad I've seen. And there's a ton of weird Facebook ads, but that one takes the cake.
Oh man, and I thought Tez Johnson was heavier than 154 pounds, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Exactly 1 year ago versus today. Sam Howell, Brian Robinson Jr., Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, Debo Samuel, Terry McLaurin. That's nuts, though. In the scouting combine, got Stacey Dale's reporting stuff. No update yet. We'll see. Yeah, they're showing offensive linemen coming up: Armand Membao, Gray Zabel. That tells me Group 2 is going to run the 40s at 3, but it was a very, very short day. Jalen Travis with a 35-inch vertical.
What else was I looking at? Oh, that's one thing. We need to get Daniel Kelly on the show.
I want to get Daniel Kelly on a show
Coming up. We're talking about that freaking, what was that, last month?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll hit him up and we'll set something up. Have him come on, talk some quarterbacks and something along those lines. Abdul Carter. I hadn't read too much about this Abdul Carter's injury. You know much about that, Chris?
I know he's not working out until his pro day. That's all I really know, though, as far as let's see here.
A stress reaction in his right foot. Well, at least it's not. I'm not sure what they're calling a stress reaction, though. You know, because
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm seeing if there are any, like, since it's a commercial, I'm seeing if there are any other rookies that we missed from the MLS Super Draft that didn't play yet. I'm just double checking my notes to see.
oh man, I'm telling you that chick soccer player that I tagged you in that
I
post,
saw
man.
that.
That's who I would draft.
She
dude.
looks really good, but there's a
She looked like
National
she'd kick
Women's
some
Soccer
freaking
League.
ass,
There's a
dude.
National Women's Soccer League for players, and I know the Colorado Rapids are putting together the funding to get a National Women's Soccer League team. Stan Kroenke, the owner of the Rapids, also owner of the Rams. Holy crap! This hockey
Yeah.
game between the Penguins and Toronto Maple Leafs is tied at 5 in the third period. So it's I just never seen a 5-5 score in a hockey game. That's just very rare. I've seen 4-4, I've seen 3-3, 2-2. 5-5 I have not seen. Like, all my years of watching hockey, I've never seen a game where it's 5-5 in the third period. So,
Yeah,
but
that's
the Penguins
crazy.
have been giving up like 8. They gave up 8 goals to the Capitals, 6 to the Flyers on the road, 6 to the Flyers at home. Their goaltending's been awful since they demoted 2-time All-Star Tristan Jarry to the minor leagues. Their goaltending's been awful since then. So I guess I could see it, but like really 5-5. That's the thing. Kyle Dubas was the GM of Toronto. He got fired from Toronto, and now he's on the Penguins, and it's 5-5 in the third. I'm only checking this out for a few minutes until we get to the combine here. They're showing clips of Armand Menbau, but they're not like they're not at the point where
Yeah. It's about 1 o'clock. I'm gonna end up having to run for a minute.
That's William Yanish. He
Go
might
get
be
this all
back
done
later,
and-
guys. But yeah, we are about ready to start Group 2 of the combine.
Yes, guys. Thank you for listening. All
37,
that good stuff. Like I said, I'll be back eventually.
They're comparing Armand Menbau to Jason Peters. Just not a good comp, in my opinion, William. Just not a good comp. Armand Menbau, that's an insult to Jason Peters to compare Menbau to him.
Yeah, I didn't. Watched a bit of him at Senior Bowl, and it wasn't. I didn't think. It was
I think he's a swing tackle. I don't think he's as high end first round Pro Bowl right tackle the media is making him out to be. I think he's a swing tackle in the NFL. I think he's going to start out as a swing tackle.
Yeah.
I think he's being probably the most overhyped lineman in the draft cycle this year. That's just my opinion.
That would definitely make sense, man. All right. I'll see you guys in a bit.
Take care of what you need to take care of. We'll be waiting. All right. That was William Yanish.
All right, man.
Creator of Under the Bleachers. We will have a future Under the Bleachers episode in a few weeks or a few days, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. But yeah, they're going over the combine times. We're getting ready for Group 2 of the 40-yard dash. So yeah, everyone from Chase Lunt to but yeah, we'll get ready, and yeah, we're gonna get ready, and we're gonna get ready for Group 2. And Armin Menbau is gonna run the first 40 time, which means Seth McLaughlin's not running the 40. Neither is Marcus Mabau. So Mabau, DNP, McLaughlin, DNP. Armin Menbau, Missouri tackle. What is he going to run? Hey, it just makes my job easier. 2 less tackles to keep track of. 491 for Armand Membau. That's a great time for Armand Membau. So Wyatt Milam is next. Jonah Monheim not going to run the 40. Neither is Jack Nelson. Neither is Holland Pierce. And a 5.28 for Wyatt Milam. Okay, a lot of work is done though. Ratledge already on the R's. A 4.97 for Tate Ratledge. There's a reason I have Tate Ratledge in the first round. He's pretty much validated why I have him as high as I have him. Ratledge was my top guard in the preseason before the injuries took a toll on him. A 5.4 for Jalen Rivers. Caleb Rogers, Jonas Savannah are going to run. Josh Simmons is not going to run the 40. But again, you get more of these out of the way for tomorrow. It's less work for me. So I'm good either way. Marcus Tate's not going to run the 40 either. $5.12 for Caleb Rogers. Yep. And yeah, I think he's on the phone with an agent after the 40 time. I don't think he's going to run a second 40 because Tate Ratledge did so well. I don't think he's going to run a second 40, but that's just me. Yeah, so we're just going to keep track of these times as they come in. Savannah with a 4.97. Jonas Savannah. I mean, I've got a third on Savannah. He could move into round 2 theoretically, but I'm not as high on Savannah as the consensus is. $5.60. After Carson Vincent, we have Clay Webb. And then we have John Williams, so Cameron Wilson's not, the Texas right tackle's not going to run the 40. Everyone else is going to run the 40 though. All right. At least we have a better idea of what we're working with. $502 for Jackson Slater, not bad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Monheim didn't run the 40, but he didn't. I was just double checking though. McLaughlin, Mabeau didn't run the 40, neither did Lunton Majors. But yeah, we'll see who works out in the on the field drills. Ozzy Trapillo about to run the 40 here. All right, so Jackson Slater and Zabel, 524 for Trapillo. Gray Zabel, I forgot Zabel's in this draft too, so we're going to put a DNP next to Gray Zabel for the 40 time. Because I didn't see him after Jared Wilson. Now, it's possible Zabel does run the 40, but right now, that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm not going to reload the page yet. We'll just leave it at that. They're going to a commercial. There's a possibility Williams back after he handles some business, so yeah. $514 for Jalen Travis. Okay, we're back. Xavier Truss with a 526. Carson Vincent, 512. Clay Webb, 514. John Williams with a 523. And Jared Wilson with a 4.9 flat for Jared Wilson, who I have a 4th round grade on, but that's a great 40 time for Jared Wilson. So yeah, we'll put something there in the news ticker. Yeah, but basically, just got to get the offensive line drills. Savannah with a 4.95. That's a good time. Trapillo with a 5.2240. Five, 2, 3 will average the times out. Second attempt. I do need to go to the bathroom, but I'm going to wait for William to come back. 512 for Clay Webb. John Williams. All right, so what do we got in the chat room here? More offensive lineman drills coming up on NFL Network. Still showing tons of commercials. Yes, the lineman drills are coming up. 4.84 for Jared Wilson. Holy crap, that is a great 40 time. I'm going to put 4.87 as the unofficial time. I like to average the times. But yeah, damn, 4.84 for Jared Wilson, the Georgia center. That is a really good 40 time. All right, they're going to a commercial. I'm gonna go take care of some business. I really do have to go to the restroom, so I'm gonna do that now, and then individual drills for this group, hopefully, because if Josh Simmons is not working out in the individual drills, there's no point in watching this once we get the official 40 times. There just really isn't. Jack Nelson's doing the wave drill. Holland Pierce doing the wave drill. I would rather watch the I would rather watch the bench press reps for the combine than the Today Show with football fans. That's exactly what Good Morning Football is. It's the Today Show for football fans. Okay? Yeah, so short pull. I do not have the 40-yard dash times up yet. I do think those are coming very soon. Hand's still not completely dry yet, but they're dry enough to where I can type again. Still, hands are still kind of not completely dry. All right, so we're all right. No more goofing around on my phone. I'm back to doing serious business. But like, I want to try to figure out 484 is not bad at all. Do we have the 40 times for the second group alignment? Do we have the official 40 times? I'm going to check X right now. Do we have the 40 times? Because I did not see them on NFL Network. An official 40 time. So don't have official 40 times for this group of offensive linemen. They got the first group of 40 times out like clockwork. So these 40 times are officially unofficial. So the 40 times have not been confirmed for Group 2 yet. I'm waiting for the 40 times. I'm waiting for the official 40 times for the offensive lineman. I think Group 2 is done now. But we still don't have the official 40 times for Group 2 yet. No official 40s yet. Like, nothing. I'm waiting for the official like times to come in for the 40s. The reason I have not typed much for Group 2 is it's been a very bland Group 2. Not only were my hands dry when I was at the bathroom, well, now my hands are dry, but like Josh Simmons not working out in this group, just an absolute deal breaker for me. Clay Webb looked good. Tate Ratledge looked good. Everybody else just looked very blunt. Trapillo, Travis had nice days. They didn't stand out like the players in Group 1, but they had good days. So there wasn't a standout in Group 2. I'm not saying Group 2 sucked. I'm saying there wasn't a standout in Group 2 like there was in the first group. Do we have the official 40s yet? No, not yet. No official 40s yet, which is weird because yeah, and Armand Membau had a good day, but I'm really not high on him. I think he's the Mekhi Becton this draft. I think he's the guy that Daniel Jeremiah's track record with offensive linemen is not good. Remember, Jeremiah had Mekhi Becton as the number one tackle in the 2020 draft. That did not age well. Brugler had Jonah Willis as the number one tackle in the draft. I thought that was bullshit because he's a right tackle. He was a right tackle at Alabama. He was Tua's blind side at right tackle since Tua throws with his left hand. I thought that was bullshit. I thought Thomas and Wirfs were the only two like high profile tackles. And the other guys got overhyped by the media. The other two first round guys got overhyped by the media. finally got the 40 times. Those are finally official, guys. So yeah, I'm glad we finally got those. But yeah, before I All right, so we're going to get the 40 times updated. Milam with Membao with a 491 official. 527 official for Wyatt Milam. Tate Ratledge with a 497 official. Jalen Rivers with a 529 official. $521 for Ozzy Trapillo. Jalen Travis had a good day. $514 for Jalen Travis. Xavier Truss with a 524. And Carson Vinson with a 512. Clay Webb with a 511. John Williams, the 517. And 484 for Jared Wilson. So all of these times are officially official. And yes, pretty much done recapping the combine. Yeah, I know I didn't say a lot about Group 2. Josh Simmons not running the 40 just completely destroyed my interest in notes on Group 2. Now, I know Zabel looked good in the drills. Clay Webb looked good in the drills. Trapillo, Travis, they were doing all the same drills as Group 1, and they did look good in those drills. But Simmons not running the 40 in this drill just killed any interest for me as far as watching as far as going in depth with my notes on the combine, but there were guys in Group 2. They ran the same drills as Group 1, looked good for the most part. 47 viewers here on Restream. Thank you guys so much. I was not expecting 100 viewers again. Saturday, you have the QBs, you have the running backs, you have the receivers. So many different positions. We're on the air for 8 hours. There's such a huge turnout. Offensive line is the shortest day of the year. Not a very high turnout. I wasn't expecting a lot. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm going to sign off on Restream unless William wants to come back on. So, William, if you do not want to come back on, so I'm basically just waiting on William at this point. But yeah, I am signing off, guys. I want to thank William for being here, but I'm going to sign